Okay, hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be showing you guys all the books that I read in the months of April and May. So let's get started. This is going to be a little bit of like a rapid fire because I can't seem to articulate my thoughts today on these books. So I'm just going to give you baseline what I read, what I rated it, and like kind of what the plot is, just to give you a little more context. Okay, so the first book I read was The Twisted Throne by Daniel Jensen, which is the 5th book in the Bridge Kingdom series. I've talked about the Bridge Kingdom series all year. The 5th book is finally out, and this is James and Anna's story. So Anna is supposed to marry the prince of like the rival country Arendelle, or Harendale, however you say it, and she ends up kind of falling for the wrong brother, and she's trying to kind of persuade them to keep trading with her country when they have plans to trade the other way. So she's trying to play this game of politics, but she's just like not a politician. She was not raised in court life because her kingdom just doesn't work like that. So she is kind of out of her element here, and she's failing. That's all I gotta say. And I'm so excited for book 6, which isn't coming out until next year. So I really don't know what to do with myself until then, but 5 books down and 1 to go. I love when I get close to finishing a series. And honestly, I rated this one a 3. I didn't love it as much as I loved the other books in the series. It kind of just like felt flat for me, especially like the forbidden love aspect. They just like, it didn't seem they were that into each other. And so I was like, what's the plot? What's the plot, you know? You feel me? The next book was Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and I know there was a lot of controversial hot takes about this one, but honestly I enjoyed it. I rated it a 4. I loved Xavier and Xavier and Samantha. I don't know how do you say Xavier or Xavier? Anyway, I loved him and Samantha, and I'm just happy that everything worked out for them in the end. Okay, and then I read The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, and when I tell you this book knocked me over, like I did not expect to like it as much as I thought I was going to. Like obviously I love Jessa's Magnolia Park, Stacey Hates, that whole universe, and I was honestly a little skeptical about this one. I think when it came out or when it was announced, I like did not know what it was going to be about, and I like didn't really pay attention. This cover kind of threw me off, but this I want to say was probably my favorite read of April, like hands down. It was so good. I love Sam Penny and I love Georgia, and this book was just, it was so good. And I'm so glad I got over my hesitation and I read it, because I will one day have to read it again because it was that good for me. So 5 stars for The Conditions of Will. Okay, and now switching over to the fantasy route. I honestly didn't plan on reading the whole series, and I'm actually caught up with the series, and you'll see when we get to my May reads. But I picked up the Book of Azrael by Amber Nicole, which is the first in the Gods and Monsters series. And when I tell you I went into this book completely blind, like I didn't know one name of the character, I didn't know the plot line, I knew nothing. I just saw it popping off everywhere, and me and my friend Ava decided to buddy read it, and it did not disappoint. That's all. I was so hooked from like as soon as I got to like page, I think like 50, it took like 50 pages because obviously I had no idea what was going on in the first 50, but it hooked me in quickly, and I had such a great time. I know you can't really see, but I love my annotations. And I also didn't know when I picked this up that this was going to be a series, and so there's 3 books in the series, and I did read all 3. And the 4th one comes out in October. So moving on, book 2 is The Throne of Broken Gods, and I also read this in April. I ended up rating the Book of Azrael a 5, and then I rated The Throne of Broken Gods a 4. I think this was good. I just think there was a lot of kind of middle. There's a lot in the middle that like probably could have gotten like skimmed down just a little bit, because I felt like nothing was kind of happening for a while, and then like the end picked up and I was like, okay, things are happening, you know. But books 1 and 2 done nonetheless. Then I read Emily Henry's new release, Great Big Beautiful Life, because obviously I couldn't go through the month of April without reading this. It was only one of the most anticipated books like of the year. I rated it a 4 because I wasn't a big fan of the whole like socialite, like trying to tell the life of this person, like they're trying to write a book about this, she wasn't a superstar, like a model maybe, like I don't know what to describe her as, but I just wasn't a fan of like the retelling of her story aspect, because I felt like that was obviously the plot, and so it was a lot of her story, and I just found myself not really caring about her story. But it was still a good book, so 4 stars for Great Big Beautiful Life. My last read of the month was Binding 13. It's a reread, obviously. I will never not love this book. I will never not recommend it. And every once in a while my TikTok likes to show me like quotes and edits, and then I'm like, oh, Shans and Johnny, I need a reread. So I reread Binding 13, and again, 5 stars, will never not be my favorite, and I just love them. I love them so much, and I love seeing my annotations, and I love just reliving this series as many times as I can. I read this book 5 times, and I can never not read Binding 13 without reading Keeping 13. So can we guess what my first read of May was? It was indeed Keeping 13, a reread of Keeping 13. So that's all I gotta say about that, because we just know how I feel about them. So not much more needs to be said. And then going back to the Gods and Monsters series by Amber Nicole, I read book 3, which is The Dawn of the Cursed Queen. And I need the 4th book now. I need the 4th book now, and it doesn't come out until October. I also just recently found out that this is going to be a 7-book series, and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, because 7 books, and let me just tell you, these are some thick ass books. And when I tell you a lot, and I mean a lot of shit has gone down, and you're telling me there's more? You're telling me we haven't even scratched the surface? So Amber Nicole, I want to know where you're going with this, because I'm so intrigued to find out. And the next book is Destructively Mine by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the 2nd in the Webs We Weave series by them. Try to say that 10 times fast. But this is Phoebe and Rocky, and they're both from like con artist family. And I have to say, I didn't love the first one, but this one really did it for me. Like, I don't know what changed. I don't know what they put in this book, but this one was so funny. Like, I had such a good time reading it, and I love Phoebe and Rocky. Maybe because in the first book they were kind of like fighting their relationship, and like now we see them fully together, like, and it's just great. It's just great. And they're actually trying to figure out why their parents lied to them, and so they're kind of like trying to almost like work against their parents, which is like really fun to see. So Destructively Mine, I rated 4 stars. I think I forgot to say my rating somewhere in there. Okay, another Danielle Jensen book. I read A Curse Carved in Bone, which is the 2nd in the Saga of the Unfated, and this is a duology, and it's like Nordic inspired, enemies to lovers, and I'm so sad this is over. I honestly really like this. I rated this one a 4 as well, and I'm like sad to say bye to Freya and Bjorn. And I can't believe I've read 6 Danielle Jensen books this year. So Danielle Jensen has been a heavy author on my TBR this year, and there's still so many more books from her that I want to read. So you should definitely read this. if you haven't. Last book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage came out, so Wild and Wrangled is the fourth and final book, and this is Camille and Dusty, and I loved them. They were, I don't want to say childhood friends, they were like childhood lovers to strangers to lovers again, because they did in high school, then they broke up, and then now they're back in the same town for once, and things were getting crazy. And she was supposed to get married, and then she got left at the altar, and he's there to pick up the pieces basically. And 4 stars for Wild and Wrangled. So honestly, the only thing about those books is that they're so short. Like, I love them. I love all the Rebel Blue Ranch books, all the Rebel Blue Ranch couples. The books are just so short. Like, I need more. My TBR jar pick of the month, I didn't do it in April because there were so many new releases. My May one was Happily Never After by Lynn Painter, and this was actually like cuter than I thought. And basically, she hires him to object at her wedding, and then they team up to start objecting together at weddings, and then she takes the job to object at his ex-girlfriend's wedding, and then he gets pissed at her because he doesn't want to ruin his ex's wedding. And it was fun. It was cute, short, easy, and it was like all around good time. So 4 stars for Happily Never After. Now this one, Shield of Sparrow by Daphne Perry. I was so surprised by this one. I love Daphne Perry, but she writes like 300-page cutie little romance, interconnected romances. So when she announced this 600-page romantasy, I was like, ooh, I'm a little nervous. But props to her, because she did a chef's kiss. She did a damn good job, because I was obsessed. Obsessed. So good. I love Odessa, and the main MMC. I can't tell you his name because it will kind of throw off the plot if I do. But just know I love them. Just know I love them. And I can't even articulate my thoughts about this because it was just so good, and I ate it up, every damn second of it. And it's gonna be a 3-book series, so I am heavily intrigued, and I need the next one ASAP. I need the announcement first, and we can also talk about how just like gorgeous. Look at those sprayed edges. Look at the end paper, and look at the gold foiled cover. I can't say enough good things. So 5 stars. So that is my wrap up, and I hope you guys enjoyed.